Welcome back to the channel, students. We're going to be learning today about something called ecological or symbiotic relationships. Relationships. Some of us have really been there, huh? As with human relationships, relationships in the ecological world can be either really beneficial to everyone, kind of harmful to everyone, or to at least one person. And, parasitic or deadly. I hope none of your relationships have been that bad. We've just finished covering how organisms transfer energy from one to another, basically by consumption. Fortunately for organisms, that is not the only type of ecological relationship that you can have with each other. In fact, when organisms are surviving within an ecosystem, they're confined to this small geographic area, and they're forced to interact with each other in ways that may be beneficial or harmful, say consumption. This idea of being confined in a certain area with certain people probably starting to sound a little familiar now. When I start to talk about these relationships, see if you can make any connections between your own life and these other organisms. Because after all, we are part of the ecosystems. To illustrate this topic, I will present to you dun, da, da, da.
The Symbiotic Sisters!
See what these sisters have to say. Show us, and let's take some notes. Back in the trusty old notebook on page 118. This time we are learning about ecological relationships, also sometimes called symbiotic relationships. First word is just like, what exactly does symbiotic mean? And what exactly is a symbiotic relationship? If I look at the word, sim means same, bio we know means life, and tic is kind of a suffix we have at the end of a word to make it into an adjective. On that alone, we kind of know that this is describing a relationship between two organisms. And these two organisms must have kind of the same life, implying that they live in the same ecosystem. They're probably competing over the same resources, and it's going to be something that's generally going to be kind of like long-term with shared resources. Involving physical interaction.
In the lovely land of Lim, the Symbiotic Sisters live in close proximity to each other as they have for many, many years. They share resources such as board games, water, shelter, blankets, and of course, do not forget the very rare and valuable banana. Sometimes this relationship is beneficial, at other times it can be harmful. These symbiotic relationships are generally always to the advantage of one organism and may be beneficial or harmful to the second. It is also possible that they have no effect on the second organism, harmful or beneficial.
Create a little chart for myself just to keep track of these sisters and their shenanigans, and so I can describe for myself exactly what kind of relationship I'm seeing. I'm going to have a column for the type of relationship or the actual biological name. I'm going to talk about sister 1 / organism 1 versus sister 2. You can definitely write organism here instead of sister. And yeah, let's see where this goes.
In this first scenario, sisters are in search of bananas. Unfortunately, it is too high for their reach. Fortunately, they work together to come up with a solution, in which they will both benefit. Little sister uses older sister to climb up and reach the bananas. Sisters happily eat bananas afterwards. Both sisters benefit.
Lovely relationship that was. This is going to be something where both sisters seem to benefit. They both work together to get a banana, and they're both quite happy. I'm going to say that Sister 1 benefits as well as Sister 2. When both types of organisms benefit, I am going to call that mutualism.
And the definition for that would be that both organisms benefit from a mutualistic interaction. Let's look at a second scenario in which a large bunny possessed by one sister provides comfort. Fortunately, it is large enough that the second sister can also share this benefit without harming the other sister.
Now this one was a little bit weirder. So Sister 1 was the one with the original bunny rabbit. Nothing really changed for that sister. She was happy as she was. She wasn't harmed anything. There was kind of just like a neutral overall effect. Whereas for Sister 2, she was able to share cuddly buns and assuage her fears, and she really benefited from that relationship. This is an interesting type of relationship in which one organism benefits and the other is unaffected. I'm going to call this type of relationship commensalism.
In this next scenario, bananas are a valuable and limited resource. The sisters must compete with each other to grab as many bananas as possible. This competition is harmful for both organisms.
Things are starting to heat up between the sisters here. Here I have two rather angry, fierce sisters doing what I'm going to call competition. Either way, it's no fun to expend your energy competing over resources, so we're going to say that both individuals are harmed at least slightly. Now, resources do not have to be just food. They include water, they include shelter, and in the case of the wild, they'll probably also include mates. You might see males, generally males, fighting over who to mate with.
These sisters live in a cold climate where it is beneficial to have blankets in which to stay warm. The first sister possesses a blanket, which the second sister decides to sneakily steal from her. Over time, the second sister gets warmer, while first sister suffers in the cold. Fortunately, this first sister is not killed. However, she is harmed to the benefit of the second sister.
Aha! Things are starting to get quite bad in the sister's house. In this case, one sister is quite happy because they benefited from the blanket and the warmth of the blanket. The other sister was left shivering in the cold as the blanket was slowly stolen from her, and she was harmed. This is a form of parasitism, in which the parasite, who benefits, steals some sort of resource from the host that they generally tend to inhabit. Parasites do not kill their host straight away because they are benefiting from whatever the host is giving them, so they'll generally try to keep them alive for as long as possible. So one organism, the parasite, benefits, often at the expense of their host, who is harmed, not killed. You might think about fleas on a dog, a tapeworm inside of somebody's stomach, that sort of delicious thing.
Alas, things are unraveling in the Lim household. We have fallen to predation. One sister has caught a tasty meal to the death of the other.
Good grief. Things have taken an awful turn in the Lim sister symbiotic relationship. We are resorting to predation, in which one sister benefited because they were fed, and the other sister ends up dead as they have been eaten. My benefiting organism is going to be my predator, who has been nicely fed, and my poor dead organism, of course, is my prey. Miss Weller is going to show you guys some very interesting graphics in which you see the cycle between a predator and a prey and how they're actually necessary to have that interaction in order to keep both populations under control in the ecosystem. So one organism, the prey, is hunted and killed for consumption by the other, also known as the predator. Anna. That's all for today, students. You should now be able to complete the entire biology section of that practice. If you're struggling, I'm going to be holding a live lesson tutorial on Thursday at 12 p.m. So come by my office hours. I'll see you there. One final note, because I am your teacher. Y'all all better be in mutualistic relationships right now, young men and young women. It better be where one partner is benefiting and you are benefiting just as much as your partner. Mutual. If any of y'all be in a competitive relationship where you're fighting each other for resources like time or love, or if you're in a parasitic relationship where one person is getting harmed while the other person's taking all of the benefits, y'all better get out of that relationship right now. I'm looking at you. Because it is not healthy. It's okay out in the natural world. Not for humans. Alright, getting off my soapbox now. Bye.